law for the co-chair to assert that the committee was not engaged in a quasi-judicial proceedings, but rather some amorphous constitutional political process. So that was the first blow that Godfrey Dame threw. He said that from watching observing the process, the entire thing is shrouded in some illegality because the committee is quasi-judicial. Yes, he said he heard Dr. Dominic Ayine, my former lecturer, I have to say, and the former Deputy Attorney General, who is also a member of Parliament, say at the committee that this was not a quasi-judicial hearing, that it was rather, he used the term, constitutional political process. Well, but it can be constitutional political and also quasi-judicial, because the document of the Constitution, when it prescribes anything, it prescribes it within the context of law, within the context of rights, I should say. The Constitution is big on rights. The Constitution is the fundamental holder of the rights of our people, of all people of Ghana. So you cannot have a constitutional process that undermines any single right, especially the first generation rights, which is like a right to be heard, a right to first trial. Those are first generation rights. There are second generation, third generation rights. But these are first generation rights. And so a constitutional provision detailing a process cannot detail a process arising out of the Constitution or arising out of Parliament or standing orders that undermines the rights of any Ghanaian. So there can be nothing like a constitutional political process that is allowed to undermine the rights of an individual. There can be a constitutional political process, yes, but it cannot undermine the rights of an individual because it is called constitutional political and it's not called quasi-judicial. I think that the opinion of many students of politics and law will indicate that a matter arising out of the Constitution cannot be seen to obscure the rights of people. Okay, so that was his first point, which was widely applauded even by people who were watching in the press gallery. All right. He continues and says that the error may explain the reluctance of the committee to avail the respondent his rights to the basic requirements of a fair trial, including the provision of particulars of the allegations against him, for him to study and appreciate before attending upon the committee to hear the proponents. There was a confusion about whether the committee should allow Ken to speak or not, and Mr. Dame is saying that it is this error of appreciating the context of the work of the committee, that if you don't appreciate the context of the work of the committee as quasi-judicial, and you give it some name, whatever name, and you believe that by giving it some name, you can obscure the rights of the individual in question, it is then that when you fall in that trap, you will have the error of deciding whether you are inviting Ken Ofori-Atta or not, all of that. Okay, let's move on very quickly to the other things he said. The next question he answered was whether or not the committee hearing breached the Nemo Judes rule against being a judge in your own case. So the rule of thumb for trial in these matters is a Latin expression, Nemo Judes in causa sua. That is to say, an individual cannot be a judge in his own cause. Nemo Judes in causa sua. You cannot be a judge in your own cause. Attorney General is alleging that this rule was breached. How was it breached? Let's read. He says the record shows that a co-chairman of the committee, Dr. Dominic Ayine, was a proponent of the motion for censure, in the sense of being one of the members of Parliament who petitioned for the removal from office of the Minister for Finance. It is therefore incongruous for the same person, Dr. Ayine, as it is, to be appointed to preside over the proceedings consequently initiated. For one to chair proceedings resulting from a petition signed by oneself is the classic manifestation of one being a judge in his own cause. Very interesting, isn't it? Very, very interesting. And all of these arguments were made in Parliament this morning. So the Attorney General is saying that another observation that he's made about the committee is that the rule of Nemo Judes, the fair trial, was completely violated. Why was it violated? Because it says that Dr. Ayine, who was part of the sponsor, he was one of those who sponsored the censure motion against Ken Ofori-Atta, himself was part of the committee and was actually a co-chair of the committee. The only small matter there that I need to check is whether or not Dominic Ayine elected himself to be co-chair or that the speaker put him there. It is possible that the speaker put him there. It's also true that even if the speaker put him there, he could have recused himself of course, knowing the law, being a former Deputy Attorney General, being a law lecturer, it's expected that if the Speaker put Dominic Ayine, Dr. Ayine there, Dr. Ayine will be able to say, I don't want to participate in this because I have a position. My position is already known. I am supporting the motion. I'm not some neutral person here to become chair of the committee. I can join the committee, but I don't want to chair. I cannot chair. Something like that is what the Attorney General is alleging. The Attorney General considered this a very big violation of the entire process of the committee's work and concluded, therefore, that there were some illegalities around the censure motion. Let's go on and see the third issue. The third issue is whether or not Parliament can determine issues of conflict of interest of a public servant. Now, and one of the cases made against Ken Ofori-Atta is that there was significant conflict of interest in the way in which he did his work. We have had occasion here to talk about that all the time when the KKD issue came up. So the general issue is that Ken Ofori-Atta is founder of DataBank, and it's the same DataBank that advises government on borrowing, and whenever government borrows, DataBank earns fees. So that there's a conflict of interest, a clear, well, is it clear? It appears to be clear conflict of interest against Ken. And it was raised in the censure motion by Parliament. Never mind that it was the same Parliament that approved the loans that Ken Ofori-Atta took, and also did approve all the fees and everything that was paid to everyone. Parliament saw it. Parliament approved it. If Strategic Africa Securities was there, it would be there. If DataBank was there, it would be there. Fidelity Bank. Parliament had already seen that. However, in the censure motion, Parliament said that those who were sponsoring the motion said that Ofori-Atta must be brought up for question about conflict of interest. What does the Attorney General say? He says as follows. It is noted, he said, that the first ground of the motion for censure hinged on an allegation of conflict of interest. Chapter 24 of the Constitution has jurisdiction to deal with an issue of conflict of interest in affirmation of the mandate of SHRAJ. So the Attorney General is saying something here. He's saying that if you want to investigate conflict of interest, then you have to go to SHRAJ according to the Constitution and according to a Supreme Court ruling. But here again, Parliament is the representatives of the people, aren't they? They are the representatives of the people. So I'm not sure what criteria that a determination will be made that conflict of interest has arisen or not. But Parliament should be able to have a look at conflict of interest. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing the question. Attorney General says the forum, which is correct, the forum for conflict of interest ought to be the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, pursuant to the provisions of Article 287 of the 1992 Constitution. And indeed, supported by his quoting a Supreme Court decision, you know, Kujeto Ablakwa versus another and Obeche Bilamte versus another. It's reported in number 2, volume 2, it says, 2012 Supreme Court of Ghana Law Report at page 845. That's where he's backing it. But I'm just saying that Parliament are the representatives of the people. They are. So that a conflict of interest matter, once there's a criteria to determine, the Parliament should be able to make that determination. Shouldn't they? I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, so this is what concludes, doesn't not conclude yet, concludes the things that Attorney General said today in Parliament, about which he received a lot of applause from the majority and about which the minority were speaking. At some point, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu asked the Attorney General to be mindful of the fact that he's Attorney General for the whole country. He's not just Attorney General for MPP government. The Attorney General's response was quite swift, and it was indicated to the Honorable Minority Leader that just this week, the Attorney General had issued an opinion about bonds, and he had told the government that you cannot renegotiate bonds unilaterally with Ghanaians. If you do so, it's illegal and that you owe them. And many Ghanaians cheered the Attorney General for that advice. Many NDC people cheered the Attorney General for that advice. Indeed, Adongo, Isaac Adongo, my friend in Parliament, had used that advice from the Attorney General and indicated that it was a very good advice. So, yes, Mr. Dami has been in the news for the bonds and now for Parliament and for the Ken Ofori-Atta issue. I think that we have put out enough, though, so we can now ventilate the issues. Get on your phone and get on Good Evening Ghana Official. What do you think about this Ofori-Atta censure motion? May I conclude by announcing, even though you know already, that at the end of the situation, the Speaker put the question, the vote was taken, and 136 people in the Parliament voted for the censure motion. NDC will count themselves as 137, but we know that Asin North is no longer in Parliament, so there will be 136. It would appear, therefore, that the entire membership of Parliament of the National Democratic Congress did move votes for the censure motion, and the entire minority did leave the chamber after the Attorney General had made his presentation and convinced his people that the motion was fraught with a lot of illegality. Okay, we are now moving to the NDC story. Do we have another break? Let's check whether we have another break. Once we have another break, we'll move to the break and then take the NDC story, unless you have messages on this one. Okay, let me pick the messages now. I'll start with you, Eunice. What messages are we getting?
Good Evening Ghana is the best program to watch this and every Thursday, coming from Kennedy. The best standard Paul Adom Otre. This is from Alidu Yao. We have some birthday wishes for Jonah Jukum Kufuor. Coming from Mary Owusu, he says that, my papa, happy birthday. And then from Braken Owusu, Jonah Jukum Kufuor, a true porcupine, happy birthday. Etro Amwa is saying that, you are the best among the best. Keep it up, Paul. And from Don Diego Diazambuja, he says, keep teaching us, Senior Paul. You are the best. Jiga is saying that, in fact, Paul, you are the best. God bless you and keep doing the good work for us. And lastly, from Eric Oklama, he says, good evening, Sir Paul. Why is it that Metro TV is still not back on DSTV? He's addressing his concern for Metro TV not showing on DSTV. He says we should kindly do something about it ASAP. And Alhaji Bob CD is saying, Paul, I swear you know you work very well. Brain Pani. Allah bless you with more knowledge and health.
So coming through from Aludu Omar from UUW main campus, he says, Paul, so was it necessary for the majority group to walk out of the chair as you demystify issues as such? Alhaji Yusuf Hussein says, for me, former President Kufuor's endorsement for any candidate means nothing, though he has done it repeatedly when he was president, but he failed to fly. At this stage, don't see any difference it can make in the current upcoming presidential contest, as all the candidates they will show their individual capacity to lead the MPP. Over to you.
Thank you. In fact, the majority have been loyal to the party and the government. I hope the president should reciprocate the same by heeding the calls of the MPs or party folks by reshuffling or sacking Ken. This message is from Solo OB. Impressive submission from you, Paul. Very understandable. We would also like to wish the former president a happy birthday. Thank you.
Okay, so Nana also says the censure motion was absolutely a waste of time and taxpayers' money. And Royal Cole says the Attorney General is good and very smart. And I must say, it's what all youth must follow and learn from. Charles Pete says, hi Paul, I love your program and I'm always watching you. Love to meet you one day. Keep it up. God richly bless you. And Isaac Xiao says, I'm happy for Ken because look at how a political party is tarnishing his reputation and image. May God protect him and his family. And on our earlier documentary, Kojo Afriyie says, gone are the days. Rest well, Dr. Kwame Safo Edu, Professor Albert Edubuahin, Dr. Janice Selby, Major Courage Kwashiga, Mrs. Gladys Asiama, Madam Asma, right? And Madam Theresa Tego, and Parliamentary Leopard says, including Honorable Jake Obechebi Lamte. Nana Yao Mystique says, Dr. Shelby was my doctor back in Kumasi, Asokwa, back in Ghana years ago. He's a good doctor. And Ifwa Pebi says, I just got home. No news all day. Why are we watching this? Any news? And Alhaji Bob City says, thank God it's Thursday.
Okay. 5 minutes past 10 o'clock on the top of the hour. We do have some football conversations, but let's now deal with the events happening at the weekend. So Ghanaian political parties have grown, haven't they? From the time that I was covering politics, NDC and MPP did not have such brilliantly well-organized congresses as we see today. You have to give the credit to the ruling party because they began the expansion of the electoral college within the parties. It was in 2009, I believe, that Nana Akufo-Addo championed the expansion, the wide expansion of delegates to vote in an election. It used to be 2,000 delegates electing the presidential candidate of the MPP. As for NDC, they didn't have a congress since they were formed in 92 to elect a presidential candidate until 2000 and I believe 2003 or 2002. when John Mahama, Kwesi Botwe, Spio Gabra, Ediana and others challenged Professor Mills at the Congress in 2002. Until then, they were electing their presidential candidates by popular acclamation. In 1992, Fly Lieutenant Rawlings was elected by popular acclamation. In 1996, the same thing happened. And in 2000, Professor J.E.A. Mills was elected by popular acclamation. Indeed, the NDC went back to popular acclamation in 2012 when John Dramani Mahama was elected by popular acclamation to become the presidential candidate of the party. But now, the contests take place, and they are real contests, and they take place in an atmosphere that you know that quite a bit of financing and thinking has gone into this. So we congratulate the both political parties. On Saturday, the NDC are showing up in Cape Coast at the university where they are going to be electing their National Youth Organizer and their Women's Organizer. Now, the context for National Youth Organizer is on the screen. So the contest is between the two men on the extreme side, Pablo from Adisco, and Boja Jemfi, my friend in Kumasi. Now, the two gentlemen in the center is President John Dramani Mahama and my good friend Sami Jemfi from Christ Embassy, you know. Why do I have four men here when I am thinking about two of them? So on the extreme left of the screen is Pablo from Adisadel, Parado. He is the incumbent National Youth Organizer of the NDC. Sami Jemfi, who is the third from left, is the incumbent communications director of the NDC, and he's running again. He's running unopposed. But the gentleman to Sami Jemfi's right is called Boja Jemfi. They may not be directly related, but they share the same surname, and they are good friends from Kumasi. They are the Kumasi cabal. It is widely believed that Sami Jemfi is looking to have Boja Jemfi to partner with him on the National Youth Organizer ticket, and does not probably want Pablo in there. But the forces of Pablo are indicating to us that Pablo is going to win. And some are saying that Boja Jemfi is going to win. So who is going to win this contest? Okay, let's throw it within the John Mahama and the Dufour contest. And later tonight we have a press statement from issued a week or so ago, but we're going to read it, which indicates that John Dramani Mahama and his family do not support any of the candidates. That's what they've said, but we will do the analysis. They said they do not support anybody. We'll read that statement for you. Now, Pablo is also said to be quite close to the rise of the Dufour campaign across the regions and the country. So what's going to happen at the stadium on Saturday, at Cape Coast University on Saturday? Observers are suspecting that if Pablo were to rise up to win the contest, he would have won a victory over Sami Jemfi more than over Boja Jemfi himself. So that Pablo's real competitor in this thing is the Honorable Sami Jemfi, who has secured his position, fairly secured. But that position, the director of the National Communications Director, has a lot to do with the National Youth Organizer, because the youth then become the content holders of the communication. You understand that? The Communications Director is running the communication, but the content, the owners of the content of communication for political parties is the youth. You have your Asedun Kete and all that, yeah, they will be there, but the youth must run with the message. To do that, the Director of Communication must be connected very well with the National Youth Organizer. Maybe it should be the same person. Maybe the NDC should have a look at their constitution and decide that the National Youth Organizer is also the Director of Communication of the party. Because really, how do you elect Sami Jemfi if he has youth, young man, 30-something? He's the National Communications Director. He's moving, he's running the communications. But you do have a National Youth Organizer who actually controls the movements and activities of the youth within the party. It is widely being suspected by analysts tonight in most of the newsrooms that Sami Jemfi wants George Oparado out of that chair. Not that he dislikes him, but you know how these things work. He wants him out of that chair. Instead, he prefers Boja Jemfi in that chair, so together they can do their work for John Dramani Mahama. Simple. Very, very simple. So we have given you the analysis. Let's keep our eye on what happens, and then we will decide on it. Let's go and look at the Women's Organizer. As I put the Women's Organizer contest, I hope Kweku has it. If you haven't, put it on there, the two Women's Organizer. And let me know if he doesn't have it. So when we said we were going to put up oh, they don't have it. Okay. Well, okay. So when we said we were going to put up the National Women's Organizer photograph, the National Women's Organizer contest, that is Hannah Bissue, whom you know, you get the photographs later. Hannah Bissue and a lady called Margot. We received quite a lot of text, and all the texts were pointing to the same direction. So they were saying that Hannah Bissue is running this competition as an incumbent. They have said that one person who has supported Mago publicly is the Honorable Dr. Julius Deborah. Now, Julius Deborah is a confidant of President Mahama. He's a chief of staff of President Mahama. His personal confidant. He's probably one of the greatest cheerleaders and supporters of President Mahama's current politics. That's Dr. Julius Deborah. He supports President Mahama. Now, Julius Deborah has been going around campaigning for Mago, as the report says. If, therefore, Deborah is campaigning for Mago, should we assume that President Mahama is supporting Mago as well and also probably wants Hannah Bisu taken out? We don't know. But two documents we're going to show you. First, we're going to show you the letter from the E.A. Mahama family. And then we'll show you a letter from, call him retired NDC or NDC renegade, even if you like, Atubiga. He wrote something in advice to President Mahama. So first, let's put the document. So this is the letter. I don't know whether we have we extrapolated it? No. Okay, so read the letter. Put the letter on, and then, okay. So this is a letter written on the letterhead of E.A. Mahama family. It's signed by a guy called Rafiq Mahama. He is secretary to the E.A. Mahama family, and his phone number is on there. And the letter reads as follows. Press release for immediate release, 11th November 2022. The John Mahama family has no preferred candidate in the upcoming NDC internal elections. It continues. Reports reaching the family of H.E. John Mahama indicates some persons associating their names with certain candidates in the upcoming internal elections of the National Democratic Congress. For the avoidance of doubt, no member of the Mahama family, including H.E. John Mahama, has any preferred candidate. The family has absolute belief in the ability of the party's delegates to elect, out of the party's rich pool of qualified candidates, the best candidate to serve in the various positions being contested. Subsequently, all such reports making rounds have no basis and should be dismissed. Were they wanting to write consequently? Because subsequently, all such, I guess. So, consequently, all such reports making the rounds have no basis and should be dismissed. Consequently, I think is the word that they were looking for. The Mahama family wishes all candidates the very best of luck in the upcoming internal election. So that's from President Mahama's family, isn't it? And we have to abide by that. But I mean, politics is what it is. No political leader does not have an interest in what's happening in his political party. It's like saying that Akufo-Addo doesn't care who becomes the presidential candidate. He doesn't care if it's Alan. He doesn't care if Baba. No, he certainly cares. He has an interest. It's like saying that at the time Akufo-Addo was running, President Kufuor had no interest. And no, they never do that. Chairman Mao in China, when he was dying, had interest. Even Colonel Gaddafi, when he was dying, he had interest. Hosni Mubarak, when he was dying, he had interest. Any political party with a leader, politicians are like that. If you're a politician, even President Kufuor, sitting where he sits today, at the glorious age of 84, he still has an interest in who becomes the MPP flag bearer. He does certainly have an interest. Whether he will be able to push his interest, the way in which he pushes his interest are the issues that then determine the greatness of the leader, the way in which he pushes his interest. The interest will be there. Every leader will have an interest. But the manner in which he pushes the interest, the way he designs it, the style with which he presents that interest to delegates, how he campaigns for the person that he's interested in, are the things that determine the quality of the leadership of the individual. But that an individual says, I have no interest when he's the leader of a political party, well, it's 15 minutes past the top of there at 10 o'clock. Okay, so let's go to the Atubiga one, and then we will close on the NDC story. So Atubiga, who is NDC renegade, says, when I say the current national leadership of the NDC is clueless, he uses other words that I can't repeat, is clueless and incompetent to even lead, he says something else. Okay, how can my big brother JDM have allowed himself to be used as a scapegoat from Binduri? Those managing Van Dam are very, Atuguba, this is your thing. The words are not readable. Okay, I can't read it anymore. Atubiga is a friend of mine. We have a lot of political conversations. So when he writes something, he sends it to me. Sometimes I want to read it, but the words here, I've not properly rehearsed it. The words don't encourage me to continue reading it. So I will. But Atubiga says something. He's quite critical of the leadership. He's quite critical of President Mahama, etc., etc. That's to be expected. He's been either dismissed from the party or he has now become an NDC party renegade, and he's quite angry with the NDC. But that's the view that he expressed. Okay, so there I have an Abisu. isn't it? Yes, I do. Do I have a photograph of Margot as well? So Hannah Bissue is running for the National Women's Organizer. She's the incumbent and she's running for it again. If they send me a photograph of Margot, I'll put it up there. But that ends the NDC story. We have a commercial break, do we? Yeah, we have one more break. So we take that break. I don't know whether my social media have messages. All right, so prepare the commercial break and then let's get Awal ready in the studio to talk about the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Okay, so messages. Who should I start with? The one is who is ready should start.
Good evening, Paul and crew. Alban Bagbin hits a brick wall. The efforts of the minority has collapsed suddenly. That is the expected outcome of a game of unabsorbed political brickmanship. Happy birthday to the former president, John Ejekun Kufuor. I like Paul on the intellectual analysis. Why haven't majority turned off the fire they ignited?
Okay, so this is coming from Yao Osei Bimpong. He says, when the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, chose Godfred Odami for the AG position, some critics said Godfred is not fit because he is young. However, what do we see now? Very brilliant and intelligent AG. Techi Ebenezer says, the Attorney General is a whole institution. He is the law embodied. I want to be like him. Lastly, coming from Master Planner Junior Kintampo, he says, the hypocrisy of this minority in parliament is so counterintuitive. They are just focused on winning power, but does not think about Ghana's development. Ghanaians should not listen to their lies and propaganda. Greetings to Dr. Bernard Oko-Boye.
Up. You understand law, Ankasa. And Techi Ebenezer says the Attorney General is a whole institution. He's the law embodied. I want to be like him. Solomon Johnson says NPP for life. Okay. Royal Cole says Pablo is surely going to win. It's going to take a massive force from Broja to win this. Anyway, Pablo stands tall. And lastly, Nana Owusu says Hannah Bissue the drone. Okay, back to you, Paul.
Okay, welcome back to the show, and we are now going to talk football. So I'm actually tying up my sleeves because I'm getting calls from the children that my sleeves have not been tied. They are urging me. As soon as I took my phone, I saw all of them are texting me, giddy, 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 please. I feel good when I get children texting me. You know, when you're on TV and children are texting you, please do this, you haven't done this right. I feel quite good, isn't it? All right. Okay, it's 19 minutes past the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. The Black Stars are out of the World Cup, but the World Cup is not over. The World Cup this weekend gets into the frightening quarterfinal stage, and the most mouth-watering clash over which we're going to get predictions from our wall is the game on Saturday night at 7 o'clock between Harry Kane of England and Kylian Mbappe of France. That promises to be an amazing game, and I believe that is a repetition of the 2000 European Championship semi-final also, when Zinedine Zidane used to play for France and when David Beckham used to play for England. I remember I hosted people at home back in the day. That would be 22 years ago or so, and we had a brilliant night. It was a Sunday night when that game was played. The English had taken the lead. Zinedine Zidane was magical, and he got the French in extra time to edge out the English, and the French went on to the final, and they went on to win the European Championship of 2000. This clash on Saturday is a repetition of that very big event, and I now join Mohammed Awal, coming to us all the way from Kumasi on the touch screen, and he's going to give us an exhilarating presentation of what we got. We'll begin with okay, let's begin though. The Black Stars have come home, and many sports journalists have said what they want to say. Countryman Songo, Sadiq Adams. What does Awal say about the Black Stars debacle? Michael Otieji had a fantastic article. I don't know whether you saw it. He says how Ghana bottled it all up. A brilliant article. What is your take?
For me, I think I was disappointed based on the fact that Ghana is a traditional side when it comes to the World Cup. We've been there only for 4 occasions. On the first 2 occasions, the first one, our debut in 2006 in Germany, we went all the way from the group stages to the round of 16 before losing out to Brazil in 2010 in South Africa. We went to reach the quarterfinals, becoming the third African country after Senegal and Cameroon. So 2014, 2022 group stage exit. I was disappointed. But one thing is, if you take a thorough look at the squad of the Black Stars at the World Cup, 13 of them, representing 50%, have never been at any tournament of the World Cup.
Any tournament at all, whether AFCON or
whether AFCON. And out of that 13, 10 of them had their debut call-ups in just this year, 2022.
Oh, I see.
So it tells you that we were going.
It's a new team.
We were going to the World Cup with largely an inexperienced side, and this explains you the reason why we have the youngest, on the average, the youngest squad within the competition. So we were out. But tactically and technically, I think that's where the problem was, because our goals that we were conceding was just within some few minutes. Take a look at that.
You mean the time between the goals we conceded?
Goals, yes.
Did we concede more than one goal in each game? Yes.
Yeah.
Uruguay scored
we
twice.
We conceded 3 against Portugal. We conceded 2 against Korea.
5 and 2
then
against.
We conceded 2 against.
7
so
goals.
7. This is the huge number of goals that we've conceded when you're comparing the other tournaments that we went. At Germany 2006, we conceded 6 goals. Conceding 2 against Italy.
But that one took the second round.
Yes. We conceded 2.
3 came against Brazil in the second round, one game.
Yes, the 3 games we conceded only 3. In the 3 good games, we conceded 3.
3 games.
2 against Italy, and then the 2-1 win against USA in the last game.
No, we considered one against. Czech was
we won
2-0.
2-0.
Okay.
In the 2010 tournament, we conceded only 2 goals in the group stage. That was
Australia.
Yes, that 1-1 draw against Australia, and that 1-0 loss against Germany.
Yes.
We won 1-0 against Serbia.
Yes.
So we conceded only 2 goals during the group stages, and we conceded 2 in the knockout stages. 2-1 win against USA, and that 1-1 draw against Uruguay, of which we lost through the penalty. So in all, we conceded only 4 goals. So the last
ending at quarterfinals.
And in the 2014 one, we conceded 6 goals. Conceded 2 against USA. We played 2-2 draw against Germany, and we lost 2-1 against the Portuguese in the last game. And then this one we conceded 7. So in terms of the tournaments that we've won to the World Cup, this one has been the highest when it comes to the goals that we conceded at the World Cup. Maybe I may be disappointed based on the fact that I think as a Ghanaian, and now I expect our team to gel, they never reach my expectation. But we can only hope, because we have a young squad. That
who should be the next coach?
For me, I just don't care whether it's going to be this. I just don't want a name. But I want a coach who has the tough skin, who can make his tough decisions regardless of anyone who's going to influence him.
Because you're also concerned that the influence will be there?
Yeah, these are the situations that we've been battling out. And we've heard about it for some couple of times. Anytime you talk about it, someone will tell you to bring the proof.
Yes, but you need to prove it.
Yes, you need to prove, but consistently we've been seeing it.
About some officials wanting their players to be fielded.
It's been within the under 17, under 20, under 23, and the Black Stars. We all know this.
And the women's teams as well?
Oftentimes.
We hear that in the women's teams.
We start it within our clubs. And take a look. Majority of all these FA people start within their club. Because even within the Congress, the FA regulation and the likes, if you want to contest in an election, you must attach yourself with the club for at least 2 years. So they start from the clubs. They start imposing the players on the clubs. You can bring a coach, but he will tell the coach, pick this player, don't pick this player. So these people rise through the ranks to become GFA Executive Committee members, to become Black Stars, Black Meteors, Black Satellites, Black Starless Management Committee members, of who they use this authority that they have and those chances that they have to influence selection.
So why don't they influence so that the team wins? Because you use a good player, the team wins. The glory is still you.
You know, there are some people, and you have to take a look at the bigger picture. Some people do this just for agency's sake. Maybe he has a player. He wants to link
the player is good. It will help the team.
Yes,
for that one, Kudus is a good player.
Yeah.
If the FA president says Kudus is my player, he must play. Every Ghanaian agrees that Kudus must play.
For that one, I don't have a problem.
But don't bring a player who cannot play, say that he's my player, so he has to play. That's where the problem is.
That's
but why would anybody do that? I find that irrational because if the team wins, you win.
Kylian Mbappe was brought to Cameroon by his father. He took his hand. He said, "This is my son. His mother is an Algerian. I'm a Cameroonian. I gave birth to him in France. So I just want him to come and play for the Cameroon national team." Allegedly, they wanted a bribe. They said, "No, I decided to bring my son to come and play."
They wanted a bribe.
They wanted a bribe. And he said, "No, if this is the thing that you're going to, I'm taking back to France. See where he is."
Oh, I see. Oh, this is a true story?
Yes.
Of his father wanting him to play for Cameroon?
Yes.
His father comes from Cameroon?
Yes. Yeah, his father is Cameroonian.
Is his father a former footballer?
No.
Okay.
But his mother is an Algerian.
His mother is an Algerian?
Yeah.
I see. Well, so he's fully African?
Yes.
And his father wanted him to play for Cameroon?
Yes.
But they were asking him for something?
Something of which he decides. Though if this is the trajectory or the tangent that you're going to know, I'm not going to accept. I'm taking back to France.
Because his father was sure that he's a good player?
He's a good player. He know the kind of maybe skills or quality that is going to add up to the Cameroonian setup.
He would have been wonderful for Cameroon.
So you see all these things after.
Okay, let's get on to the main matter where we are talking about the last 8 of the World Cup clubs, and he will take us through one after the other. The teams, national teams, I should
story.
say. Okay, Morocco became the 4th African country to reach the quarterfinals. So Morocco are playing who? Tell us about it.
They are playing Portugal.
Oh, the good old Portugal.
Yeah, they are playing Portugal.
The Ghana Black Stars Portugal.
Yeah, that's what.
So what's going to happen?
So we're going to preview the match. So we're going to take a look at what's happening. But I think we need to talk about the Moroccans.
Yes.
They deserve commendation. And this is just a fluke. It was a well orchestrated, properly planned.
I saw their game against Spain, and they were very confident. Even though they were playing defensive, they were very confident. When they took the ball on, they could have really won that game.
Yeah.
They really could have won.
Since August, when their coach took over, they've conceded only a goal.
August?
Since August.
4 months ago?
Yes.
Have they played a lot of games?
Yes. They played some couple of friendly matches and the World Cup games.
And the World Cup, did they top their group?
They topped their group, 7 points.
Oh, I see.
They
won 2 and drew 1.
Yeah. They drew against Croatia, goalless in the first game. They won 2-0 against Belgium.
Belgium of all places.
Yes, and they won 2-1 against Canada. And even the goal they scored was an own goal. So they scored it for the opponents.
The Canada one?
Yeah, the Canada one. Naif Agued, that number 5 JC who plays it with West Ham.
He scored
the own goal for the Canadians. So
they are difficult to penetrate.
Very, very, very difficult.
Could we be looking at an African semi-final if they put their act together against Portugal?
Morocco have the chance to do it. They have the chance to do it. And they need commendation.
They do.
They've done a yeoman's job. This one, all these things.
I saw them against, they beat Spain on penalties, nonetheless. And they beat Belgium, which has a very good individual team.
Yeah.
We don't know about the team, but the individual players in Belgium are fantastic.
Yeah, the golden generation. Of
Belgium. And they beat them 2-0.
2-0. And that was a revenge of what happened in 1994. They met Belgium in 1994 at USA, and they lost 1-0. So this time around, they revenged against Belgium.
I see. No, I saw the team. They are good. So what's your prediction? You think they can play Portugal?
It's a very difficult game.
Is Portugal stronger than Spain? From what I saw, Spain passed the ball better.
No, Spain usually used to circulate the ball, but they are not more purposeful as compared to the Portuguese team.
Well, the Portuguese have dangerous players.
Yes, this. And even player-wise, quality, the Spanish team, I think the Portugal team are above them.
On quality?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, the Spanish team is young.
The Spanish team is too young.
So it's young. Barcelona
it's a team of a young generation that they can build upon.
Okay, so Portugal have Cristiano Ronaldo, who I think they can manage. Morocco can manage.
Yeah.
But they have
Bernardo Silva has been quite well.
Bernardo Silva is
but
good.
To me, I think within the Portuguese side, Bruno Fernandes has been.
And that's what I was coming to. Bruno Fernandes is the revelation of the team.
Yes, he has been
his passing ability is amazing.
Most of the times, people criticize him on the national team.
That he gives more to Manchester United.
Yes, he gives more to Manchester, more than the Portuguese. But
this time he showed up.
He's doing a marvelous job. The Moroccan situation, Paul, it's not a fluke. They had the current FA president, Royal Moroccan Football Federation president. His name is Fawzi Lekjar. He owns a club called RS Berkane. And he's also the head of finance on the executive committee of CAF.
Oh, I see.
He's also Ministry of State at the finance in Morocco.
He works at the Ministry of Finance in Morocco.
Ministry of State in the
He's the Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance in Morocco. In the government.
In the government.
And he's also the FA president. Then he's also CAF finance person.
Yes.
He chairs the CAF finance committee.
CAF, when it comes to the finance committee, he's the head.
Is he a chartered accountant? Or?
I don't know.
But he's the president of the FA.
He's the president.
What did he do? Why are you attributing to him so much?
In 2014, he became the FA president of Morocco. And he said they need to raise up Moroccan football because Moroccan football has died out. They started churning out very good performance from club football between 2017 up to date. Any of the CAF inter-club competition will see at least one Moroccan side in the finals.
Grand final?
Yes.
So you are talking far of Morocco?
Yes. In 2000, let me tell you, yes. Between 2017 up to this year, 2022.
Every final
final will at least see one Moroccan club.
Either the Cup Winners' Confederation or the Champions League. In the grand final?
Yes. Let me give you my proof.
I see.
In 2017, WAC won the CAF Champions League.
Yes, I remember
by beating El Ahly.
Yes, they beat Ali.
In 2018, Raja won the CAF Confederations Cup by beating AS Vita. In 2019, 2 clubs from Morocco were in the finals, but unfortunately, both of them lost. RS Berkane lost to Zamalek in the Confederations Cup, and then WAC lost to Esperance in the Champions League. In 2020, RS Berkane won the Confederations Cup. In 2021, which was last year, Raja won the CAF Confederations Cup. And this year, 2022, all the 2 inter-club competitions are in the hands of the Moroccan clubs.
I see.
RS Berkane are the champions of
the Confederation. Is Berkane and WAC and Wydad populating the national team, or is players from West Ham?
Not as such. I'm coming. Apart from that, under this same FA president, they've qualified to 2 World Cup tournaments. Because since 1990, they've never been at World Cup till 2018. And it happened under the presidency of this man that I'm talking about.
I see.
And they are there now. If you take a look at what is happening within the CHAN tournament, the locally based competition, 2018 edition, when they hosted, they won. And the last edition in Cameroon also, they won. When it comes to women's football, the Women's CAF Champions League, they started playing it last year. This year, it was won by a Moroccan side.
I see.
Their women played in the CAF African Women's
So it's a systematic build-up of Moroccan football.
So this one is
so
not a fluke.
So what we are seeing is not a fluke. I get your point. It's a systematic build-up.
Yes. They have about 65 million euros project that they did. An edifice, or you can say an academy system that can house Moroccan players, both national team from the senior national team and the 23 and the 70 and the likes.
So that's where all the national teams come.
Systematic investment that they made.
But we should have that. How is a Pram Pram place? The GFA place in Pram Pram?
You know, the investment...
Sikaman or something like that.
Yeah, Pram Pram, yeah.
Yes. It's not happening.
The investment made is not as such.
Because we have a lot of talent. We need one of that in every region.
We should have.
We can produce
Pram
players.
Pram should have been a standard place of which even if Black Star players come, we need not to be taking them to hotels and the likes. They can be housed.
Yeah, at the place, at the camp.
Yes, other countries are doing so.
So we have a national camp that keeps the Black Stars.
Not only Black Stars under 70.
Everybody
we can do it as a project. Black Stars will be here under 23, and even with the women's national team, we can be doing it.
It saves us money in the long term.
Yes. So the Moroccan story is not. I think.
Okay, so let me come to the prediction before we move to the next. Or you have something else to say?
Yeah. You know, and these are the things. You know, you've seen all these African countries that have been at the quarterfinals. And the significant thing of the Moroccans is that, take a look at this. This coach became the first coach. Valery Nepomniachtchi in 1990 took Cameroon to the quarterfinals.
Yes.
Bruno Metsu, the late, did it with Senegal. And then Milovan Rajevac did it with Ghana. But the significance of that Moroccan one is they did it with a local coach.
Getting to the quarterfinal,
Getting to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So this is an African.
Yeah. Walid
Regragui. He was coaching WAC of Morocco just around some 6 months back.
Oh, he was coach of WAC?
He took WAC to defeat Nadia Al Ahly in this year's CAF Champions League final.
I see.
And they had the confidence
to make him the national team coach.
The former coach, Vahid Halilhodžić, was having a tussle with 2 players, Nusayr Mazraoui and then Hakim Ziyech. So they thought that these are their 2 key players, that they would need them in the World Cup. So they need to sacrifice either those 2 players or the coach. So the coach was sacrificed for Walid to come on board. And then here's the situation. Walid has took them to the quarterfinals.
Do you think they have a chance of beating Portugal?
It's a tall order, but let's see what happens. It's a tall order.
But you will put Portugal as the bookmaker's favorite.
I think the Portuguese are favorites.
They're favorites to go through.
For me, in that score,
Okay.
I think the Portuguese are favorites.
So that was the Moroccan conversation, and a very interesting conversation about Morocco. And Awal's testimony is that what Morocco has done is not a fluke. It is something that is a deliberate action that has been taken to take Morocco to where they are right now in the World Cup. Let's move on to the next quarterfinal game. Croatia versus Brazil.
Brazil, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a tough task that's going to be coming. But those two sides have met on 2 occasions at the World Cup. 2006, 2014, and all these things happened in the group stages.
Mm-hmm.
The Brazilians won 1-0 in 2006. I can't remember. Kaká scored the only goal, and then the Brazilians defeated them in the opening game of the 2014 World Cup at Sao Paulo when Brazil were hosting the competition. Marcelo scored an own goal. Neymar came with 2 goals, and then Oscar, former player of Chelsea, scored the third goal for the Brazilians. For me, I think the Croatians, whenever they go past the group stages, in the 2 World Cup tournaments that they've gone past the group stages,
They go to the final.
they go to the semi-finals.
Last time we were in the final.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
Last World Cup.
Last World Cup they were in the
To-
final
Russia
with
2018.
France.
Yeah. You know, they became independent, I think, 1992.
Yes.
And so they went to their first World Cup in 1998. And they went all the way to the semi-finals. They became the 3rd place team. Beating Netherlands in the 3rd place. They lose out to France in that 2-1 win after they took the lead. Lilian Thuram scored the 2 goals in the semi-finals, of which they defeated the Croatians. So after that, they've never gone past the group stages till Russia 2018.
And once they did,
And they were able to make it to the semi-finals.
to the final into Russia.
To the finals in Russia, and then the one in France 98 was in semi-finals.
Semi-final. So you're thinking that if you're looking at their performance and history when they go
In
past
that
the group
2
stages,
occasions.
Brazil should be wary.
But they are coming face to face against the most experienced side within the competition, which is Brazil. But this is their key man, Luka Modric.
He's a great passer of the ball.
Yeah.
Almost like Bruno Fernandes. Or
Very
rather,
skillful.
Bruno Fernandes like him.
Very skillful. This is what we call an all-round player.
Yeah, he is. He is.
An all-round player.
He reminds me of that other player called Deco. I don't know whether you
Sousa
remember.
Anderson.
Yes, the Brazilian guy. I don't know what happened to
the
him, but
Portuguese, yeah.
he was one of the most dexterous midfielders I've ever seen. Deco
yeah.
is an amazing passer of the ball.
Very
He
amazing.
holds the ball well. His free kicks are good.
Very
Just a
amazing.
total player. Those
Very amazing.
midfielders bring a lot of delights to us when
Yeah.
we watch football. Luka Modric is certainly one of them.
Yeah. So they're coming against Brazil. This is a team that has never missed any of the entire World Cup since it started in 1930.
Yes, every World Cup. Brazil
Every World
qualifies.
Cup they are present. And the last time Brazil failed to top a group at the World Cup was way back in 1978
In Argentina.
in Argentina.
I see. Since then, they've topped every group that they are in. 70, 74, 82, 86.
86, 90, 94, 98, 2002 up to date.
Yeah.
But the worrying situation is they seem to be going out since in the quarterfinals, especially against European sides.
Against European
Against
opponents.
European sides.
In quarterfinals,
Yes.
Brazil struggles.
Yes.
In quarterfinal games against European opponents.
Most often now, since 2002. You know, 2002 was the last
2002,
time.
they beat England.
It was the last time they won the competition. I was saying since 2002.
Yeah, but they beat England in 2002
Yes.
quarterfinal. It
Yes,
was a
yes.
European
Yes.
opponent, but they struggled.
Yes.
They needed a goalkeeping error from David Seaman
Michael
to be
Owen
able
scored
to.
first.
Owen scored first, yes.
Rivaldo equalized, and then came
Yes,
the free
yes.
kick from Rivaldo.
Ronaldinho. Yeah, and
yes.
that's what messed the goalkeeper up.
Yes,
but that was a
David Seaman.
goalkeeping error,
Yeah,
David
yeah,
Seaman.
yeah,
So
David
that day, Brazil struggled to overcome the English challenge, but that was one of the best teams of England in those days.
So they
I see,
won.
so you're right about that.
So since 2002, they've lost all their 5 knockout games against European sides.
Yeah, that's not a good record.
Because they lost 2006 against France. They lost 2010 against Netherlands in the quarterfinals. They lost in the semi-finals against Germany when they hosted the competition.
A huge 5-0 or
7-1.
7-1 margin, yeah.
In the history of Brazilian football,
When they hosted the competition.
They
in semi-final
in
game.
Semi-final.
Very awkward.
They call it Minerazo.
What does that mean?
You know, the game went on at the stadium called Estadio Mineirão in the city of Belo Horizonte. So they have 2 results that to Brazilian football they think this is the most scandalous result they've ever had in
The
their
7-1.
The 7-1 and the Maracanazo.
Which one is that?
Which was in 1950 when they lost against Uruguay, of which the Uruguayans won their second
World Cup, yes. 1950.
50 and then 2014. But this one was so embarrassing. 7-1 at your own backyard.
Hosting the World Cup.
Hosting the World Cup.
So against European opponents since 2006 World Cup, Brazil have not
since
had a good record.
2002. At
Yes,
the
so
knockout
6.
stages.
No, 2 they won, so they went
Yes,
beyond.
yes, yes, so
But
after 2000.
after 2006
Yes,
in
yes.
Germany.
Yes. And they lost against.
No, 2006 they beat us in Germany.
Yeah, that was
in
round 16.
round 16. Who did they meet in quarter?
France.
And France defeated
France
them.
defeated Thierry Henry. Zidane took that free kick, and then Thierry Henry had the tap.
Oh yes, I remember that goal. I
Yeah.
remember that goal. I remember that goal. So if we had beaten Brazil, we would have played France.
Yeah, we were at France.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. I see. I never thought about that that way. Okay.
So they lost against Germany, and in the third place they lost against Holland, Netherlands.
Oh, even in the third place
Even in
game.
the third place game. In the last World Cup, they lost against Belgium
Oh, they
in the quarterfinals.
Belgium
Yeah,
beat
Belgium
Brazil.
beat them in the quarterfinals. That 2-1 win. You know,
Oh,
we
not
saw-
penalties. 2-1.
No, 2-1. Yeah.
Romelu Lukaku.
Romelu Lukaku scored. And, no, Romelu Lukaku. Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh, De Bruyne, yes.
Kevin De Bruyne scored. And then that day, Brazil had an equalizer. It ended 2-1.
I see.
The Belgians scored the 2 goals first.
Oh, it was
It was
2-0.
Vincent Kompany. Yeah, I remember Vincent Kompany.
The defender,
and then,
yeah.
and then Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Before the Brazilians had that equalizer, that consolation goal, which ended 2-1.
Wow.
So it's a
Oh,
tough
this is
task.
interesting.
So
This
it's
is
a
very.
tough
That's
task.
why we like talking to our viewers. You see the kind of things he's bringing out. This is very interesting. So Brazil should be careful.
Should be very careful.
Otherwise, Croatia will upset them.
Yes, and and Croatia is an European side.
Yes, the European side.
So since
And well disciplined.
yeah. So, but I think the Brazilians are still favorites, based on the fact that
What have you thought? What have you made about Richarlison? We don't give him that much credit in the Premier League. He's
Yeah,
playing
you
for
know-
obscure clubs, quote unquote obscure clubs like Everton.
he was with Watford, Everton, he's now with Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
But you see, most of the time in the Premier League, he drifts towards the wing areas.
Yes, I thought he was a winger, but now he's being used as an arrowhead.
Yeah, and he's doing creditably well, scoring 3 goals in this competition.
But it probably means that in Brazil, the wingers are the big boys.
Yeah.
Neymar
And
is there.
They have too much of options.
Yeah,
there.
Neymar is there. So if
Neymar
you
is
really
there.
want to play, you have to play
Yeah,
as
even
arrowhead.
Neymar is now even not being drifted at the wings. Neymar right now plays just behind us because there's a certain Vinicius.
But you know that the Brazil, historically, unrelated to, don't create a lot of arrowheads.
Yeah.
If you look at their football,
They want free flowing.
yeah, they don't
fluid.
like the arrowhead. There was a player called Careca.
Careca, yeah.
Yes,
I've
who
heard
played
about him.
way back. He actually played with Maradona in the
88,
Serie A
yeah.
in Naples for Napoli. Careca, very good striker, authentic. Then they had Kaká as well,
Kaká is most of the a playmaker.
playmaker. So Brazilians don't really create that kind of Robin van Persie person. They don't
want
do
skillful
that.
players. Even their
Yeah, but you
strikers.
can have that in skillful.
Yeah.
Marco van Basten, Robin van Persie. They have been very skillful strikers. Even the German Müller
Yeah.
or Lewandowski. Yeah. But Brazil doesn't create that. So Richarlison is enjoying that position.
But he's doing
He is.
creditably
He's
well.
actually doing well.
He was the reason why even Gabriel Jesus is being put on the bench.
Oh, hey, he's injured too.
Yeah, he's
Arsenal
injured.
are very worried.
He's even out of the competition right now.
Out of World Cup.
Yeah, out of the World Cup. He and Alex Telles, they're out. So
Okay.
they are not going to be there. So Neymar,
Key players.
This is the key player for the. So let's go to the.
Okay, so we end that Brazil and Croatia, he thinks is going to be very cagey.
But I give it to Brazil.
But he'll give it to Brazil, but the record shows that Brazil must be careful. Next is Netherlands,
Argentina.
We expect a free-flowing, very good game.
But I think this time around,
Nobody's going to hold back.
The Argentines might be having an edge. To me, I think this is probably the weakest Netherlands teams I've ever seen since I started watching World Cup.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
The Netherlands?
Yes.
You don't consider them that strong?
Yeah, if I'm comparing their team to their various squad they've went with at different
Which
World
squad
Cup.
are you comparing? Are you talking Patrick
Maybe
Kluivert or are you going way
Yes,
further,
yeah.
Ruud Gullit?
Yes, I've talked about those golden generation.
Kluivert.
I'm talking about Ruud Gullit, Marco van Basten, and then Frank Rijkaard.
Oh, that's a long time.
Ronald Koeman.
Edgar Davids.
You are just coming. Edgar Davids, and then Clarence Seedorf, Aaron Winter, Boudouin Zindine. Boudouin Zindine, Frank de Boer, Ronald de Boer.
Yeah, that's
Take a look
solid.
at
That's solid.
Patrick Kluivert, Philip
Jaap
Jaap
Stam.
Stam.
That's solid. That's Dutch.
Yes.
Proper Dutch team.
Take a look at their goalkeeper, even
which one?
Van der Sar.
Oh, somebody said Dennis Beckham.
Dennis Beckham.
Yeah,
I've even
very
forgotten
good
Dennis
player.
Beckham.
Very good player.
Van der Sar.
Yeah.
So even come to the other generation that I've seen. Roy
Edwin van der Sar.
Yeah, Edwin van
The
der Sar.
United goalkeeper. He's also Dutch. Yes, he was. Yeah.
Even take a look at downstairs. Come to Ruud van Nistelrooy, Ruben van Persie, Andy van der Meijden, Pierre van Hooijdonk.
You are right. You're right.
I think
the quality
even
of historical quality of the
when
Dutch.
you are comparing
It's
their various
amazing.
squad, I think to me this one is the weakest.
But they have Memphis Depay.
He's there, but can you compare it to Robin Van Persie?
No, at all. At all.
Can you compare it to Marco Van Basten?
No.
Can you compare it to even Van Nistelrooy?
No.
You know,
I see. Yeah, but they still play the Dutch free-flowing football.
They play
the passing. They still do that.
They have an experienced coach.
Very experienced.
Who has seen it all. Who knows the ins and outs.
Yeah. Don't you think he's going to be their trump card to defeat Argentina? Because Luis Van Gaal knows football so much.
Yeah.
He so understands football that he'll be able to wrap his finger around Argentina.
For me, I think the Argentines might be having the edge. You know, in the World Cup, they met in 1974.
In the final?
That was in the group stages.
Oh, group stages.
The final was in 1978.
78, yeah. When Argentina was hosting.
Yes, 74. Yes, 74. Netherlands won 4-0. 1978, the Argentines won 3-1.
And won the trophy.
Yes. But the game that I remember very close between them is that one in 1998. And it was quarterfinals, a same stage like this.
98, the French World Cup.
Yes.
I don't remember that game. Who were playing for Holland in those days?
Patrick Kluivert.
Kluivert was in the team.
Claudio Lopez equalized for the Argentines. And then Dennis Beckham scored.
Oh, yes, I remember the game.
Dennis Beckham dribbled past Ayala.
Yeah, he did. I remember the game. Dennis Beckham. Yes. Kluivert was in that team.
Yeah, Kluivert was in that team.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Kluivert was in that team. With Guus Hiddink.
Guus Hiddink, yes.
He was the coach. He was on the
yes.
So those are very, even Argentina were having Ariel Ortega, Sensini, even the current coach of Atletico Madrid, who was the captain then time. Simeone, Diego Simeone.
Ortega came to talk to inherit Maradona. It didn't quite work.
Yes.
And then Messi took it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Dutch team won 2-1. That was quarterfinals of France 98. They met again at Germany 2006, but that one was a group stage game.
Yeah.
It ended goalless. And they met again in the penultimate one before.
Is this the team that's playing now?
Yeah. These are the current squad.
And
Memphis Depay, Julian Timber, you see them, Tyrell Malaysia, the likes of these are Denzel Dumfries.
And you think that they are not as strong as the Dutch teams before?
Based on the quality that I knew to be. The strong player that you can have is Virgil van Dijk.
Yes, the Liverpool defender.
Yeah, you can talk about even.
But he will have the responsibility to look after Messi.
Yeah, I think he has to keep it. Not even Messi. Julian Alvarez is also coming up well. With
Dybala is not playing.
Dybala is not getting playing time within this Argentine team.
I'm wondering why. Yeah. Don't they need a playmaker behind Messi?
You know, no. The Argentines will always like to go with one number 10, not two number 10s, unlike Brazil.
Yeah, but can't they form Dybala into a number 8?
No, you means you're going to weaken the midfield.
Really? Why?
Yes. Imagine if you have Messi being the attacking midfielder, you have the central midfielder being Dybala, and then you have a defensive midfielder. So it's only Dybala who is weak when it comes to tackling, who's going to complement the effort of the defensive midfielder. So how can you do so?
Can't you throw Dybala on the right? Is he right-footed?
No, Dybala is not a speedster. So if you put him on the right, how effective is going to see him?
So his strength is what? Retain the ball and pass.
Retain the ball, pass well,
create danger,
create opportunity. So Dybala is more of someone who plays within the final third. Like I said, other time I came zone 14. In Italy, they call it trequartista. The final third. Like Messi, Dybala is just simply like Messi. So can they pull off Messi and let Dybala?
So if Messi is on the field, he cannot be.
That's it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Unless maybe.
But if you got a good coach, you really could have turned him into something else.
It depends on how the coaches are going to improvise their tactics on the field. So Virgil van Dijk is the key player for the.
Now this Argentine.
So for me, I think my bet is on the Argentines team.
To make it.
Yeah,
and Messi to edge it into the semi-final, where he will be meeting Brazil potentially.
Let me tell you another interesting fact that I would have forgotten. In 1978, when the Argentines were winning the competition on home soil, during their third group game, Mauro Kempes played a penalty and he squandered it. He didn't score. In 1986, when the Argentines were winning, in their third group game, they had a penalty. Maradona didn't score.
86, when they won the World Cup?
When they won the World Cup.
Okay.
In 2002, their third group game, they had a penalty. Messi couldn't score.
Wow.
So the Argentines are saying,
so they may be on the road to carry the World Cup.
It's their year. So
I see. Then football is going back to Maradona. Okay, that was for Argentina and Holland. Next game is what?
Morocco.
We've done Morocco, Portugal.
No. We were just talking about just some few things.
Oh, okay. But you said Portugal might just edge.
Yeah. For me, I think the Portuguese. But they've met only twice, and all these competitions that they met, none of any friendly games between them. they were all in the World Cup.
I see.
1986, and then the last World Cup, 2018. Morocco defeated Portugal 3-1 in 1986. Topped the group that included England and Poland and Portugal to go to the round 16 before losing out to West Germany. And they met again in the last World Cup at Russia, of which Cristiano Ronaldo scored the only goal of the game. So it means that they are squared, they are tied.
Wow. Okay.
So
Let's
what
move
games
on.
yet?
Let's move on to the next game so we can. England, France. This is our last game.
Yeah, this is the last game.
Yeah. What is going to happen there?
And I think the English team, quarterfinals has always been also a stain on their team.
The last World Cup, though, they went to semi.
They went to the semi.
Yeah,
For
that's
the first
the
time
only
since
1990. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But England, they flatter to deceive. They flip flop. At times they give you mediocre performances. In '94, they even failed to make it at the World Cup.
At the World Cup, yeah, I remember that.
2014, they went out in after the group stages in a group that included Uruguay, Italy, and Costa Rica. Costa Rica topped the group. England were last, failing to win even a game. At South Africa 2010, they were bungled out by the German team.
Yeah, but they will complain about the goal line technology.
The goal line, and that was the reason why we had the goal line. So,
yes.
England in 1954 they were eliminated by Uruguay at this stage.
Uruguay won that competition.
No, in 1954 it was West Germany
That won the World Cup.
Yes.
Okay.
In 1962, Brazil eliminated them at this same stage.
62.
Yes.
Okay.
In 1970, West Germany eliminated them at this same
but
stage.
West Germany didn't win. 1970, no, Brazil won.
Yeah,
that.
Brazil won. 1986, the hand of God.
I think it's Maradona quarterfinal. Yeah.
Quarterfinals. 2006 against Portugal
Quarter.
at this stage.
Yes, Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah.
Yes. That game went
Ronaldo,
to the
Rooney.
penalties. Yeah, that game went to the penalties. So in 2010 at South Africa, remember round 16, they couldn't even go past the round
South
16.
Africa was the Germany one.
Yeah, that was the Germany one. So Germany eliminated them and eliminated Argentina before reaching out to the semi-finals. And the last World Cup, they were there in the semi-finals.
That was England.
That was England.
Yeah.
But between them and France in the World Cup, they've met only on 2 occasions, and all of them have went to the English.
English have won World Cup games against France.
Between the two.
Which years?
1966 when the English
won it, yeah.
were winning on home soil 2-0, and then 1982, 40 years ago.
82.
Yes.
They played France in
played
the
France.
World Cup in Spain.
Yeah, in Spain.
Okay, this will be Gary Lineker's team.
Yeah, Roy Hodgson,
Yeah.
Brian Robson.
Brian Robson was the
Brian
captain of the
Robson,
team.
yeah. Goalkeeper Peter Shilton. Those were those men.
I see.
That.
So World Cup history, England is ahead.
Yes.
Current form.
Current form, I think this is where the French might be having an edge. Not, but it will be very, very close. But the game is going to be on the tactical stage. Who is going to win the tactical battle? That's where you're going to
Who's the French coach these days?
Didier Deschamps. The one who won.
Former footballer.
Former captain. He won with them in 1980 as a player.
And then the other side, you have
we have
Southgate.
Southgate.
Oh, Southgate, I don't know about his strength.
But I think Southgate has done very well for the
so far, yeah.
I think after Euro 2016, he took over. They went to the World Cup in 2018. They were in the semi-finals for the first time since 1990.
Yeah, 2020
and for the first time, he took them to the Euros finals. They've never
grand
been at the
final,
finals before losing out to Italy. So I think he's
on penalties, actually.
On penalties, I think he's done creditably well for the English.
So who's going to take this game?
For me, I'll give my bet on the French team.
You think the French will win it?
They have to take a very close look on Kylian Mbappe. He has scored 5 goals within this competition. He has
at quarterfinal.
Yes.
Before quarterfinal.
Yes. In this competition.
That's a lot of goals.
He and Pele are the only young teenagers to score in finals of the World Cup. Pele in 1958 and then Mbappe in 2018.
Yeah.
So, and if you take a trajectory of how the French have been scoring their goals, majority of them have been coming from the wide areas.
Yeah, French.
So they have to take a very close look
that
at
Olivier Giroud. Kyle Walker is being talked about in England, and people are missing Reece James.
Yeah.
That if Reece James, the Chelsea right back, had been in pole position for this World Cup, they would have been able to defeat France. But they are not very confident about Kyle Walker.
I were Gary,
and then on the other side, they have Luke Shaw. Both of them are not very good defending, and you have Mbappe coming.
I think if the English coach is going to go 4 back, it might affect them. For me, if I'm the English coach,
go 5 or 3.
3 back. Yeah. Have Kyle Walker, have John Stones and Harry Maguire. So Kieran Trippier and then Luke Shaw will complement as your wing backs. So they will always be adding up to the 3 when they are under attack.
But that means you need stamina.
Yeah, you have to.
That's the way to go against these people. If you do 4-4-2, you're in trouble.
Yes, 4-4-2, 4-3-3. What it means is your midfielders have to slot in because
Okay, so you want to crowd the middle.
Yes.
And then you give them very little space on the flank.
If you are going to have your right and left wing backs who are going to be moving, it means your midfielder have to step in. They don't have to move alongside because Mbappe on the left. There's also another Dembele, Ousmane Dembele. He's also another speedster.
Very good guy.
And Olivier Giroud has found his scoring boots in this competition. The last World Cup, he didn't score any goal.
Yeah.
But this time around, he's found his scoring boots, even surpassing Thierry Henry's 51 record as the all-time top scorer of the French national team. So, but the English team has done well. They've scored 12 goals in this competition. They and the
that's because they scored one big goal against Iran.
Yeah.
that was it.
But they scored 3 on 2 occasions.
You think Harry Kane should be looked at by the French defense?
Yeah, Harry Kane this time around have not been scoring, not like the last World Cup. But take a look at how he's been assisting. He's been assisting. Yes, I've seen that. He scored though. He scored against Senegal. Only against Senegal.
Do you think Raheem Sterling should be in this game?
Yeah, I think they will need his experience.
The experience.
They will need his experience.
Okay. What about Phil Foden?
Phil Foden has been in top shape within the Premiership before coming to the World Cup. But check his performance in the national team. Oftentimes, how does he perform? Bukayo Saka most often give good performance ahead of Phil Foden when it comes to the national team.
But this is a game against France. They might need people who hold on to the ball, who create a threat. So they may be thinking of Marcus Rashford more than Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, okay. But no, maybe at the place of Phil Foden, that's where maybe they be putting Marcus Rashford.
Okay.
For Bukayo Saka, I think he's untouchable.
On the wing at the number 7 position.
Yes, because he's
right
doing
wing.
creditably well. For the national team, with the 2 competitions that is played for them, the Euro Championship last year and this year's World Cup, he's been doing well. He has also scored 3 goals.
So England, France, you pick France.
For me, I'm going for
Okay,
France.
we'll come back to you again when the semi-finals are due. Do we have some messages to close with? Are you ready to take them now? We have just 2 minutes, one each.
From Chinedu, he says, Mohamed Awal is on spot with his analysis, but football doesn't respect history and caliber of players in a team. Also, this World Cup is in a stage you must win to advance further. So the team with the right mentality might sneak it after 90 plus minutes. And then this one is saying that Akoto Emmanuel Ado, he says, please, is this guy a human being or a computer machine? Oh, he is too good. I salute him. Ebenezer Ochi replies with, I told you, Annette.
So coming from Master Planner Junior Kintampo, he says, fantastic analysis by Awal, but we shouldn't also forget that this current Black Stars team, apart from conceding the highest goals in the World Cup group stage matches, they have also scored the highest World Cup goals in the group stages. 4 goals in 2006, 2 goals in 2010, 4 goals in 2014, but 5 goals in 2022. The team has a great future. Our goalkeeper, Ati Ziggy, should be monitored so closely. He is super good. Alexi Bolt Lexi says, hey Paul, you are always on top of your program. In-depth knowledge in your topics. And lastly from Ebenezer Otri, Charlie, I'm just enjoying the flow, especially the way he mentions the players' names. Wow, you are too much. Over to you, Karen.
Godfred Guy, he says, this guy is a pro. My first time watching him and I can't stop watching. Great guy. Sena Dijan says, this Brazilian side has the zeal to push any team in this World Cup. Ebenezer Otri, this Awal is just too good. I just love watching him. David Pep says, Awal knows his notes. Selassie Rich, this guy is good. Enjoy his presentation. Thank you.
Right. Akoto Emmanuel Ado says, Paul too is good in every sphere, journalism, law, and everything. We need him in Parliament. And Charles Berthe says, Mr. Paul, please, could you tell your good friend Mr. Awal to help my son? He's a very good footballer, but I don't have money to pay a bribe. Please help my son for me, please. And lastly, this says from Selassie Rich, the guy is good. Enjoy his presentation.
Okay. Thank you very much. Of course, Awal is great. And you will see him again when the semi-finals are here. He'll come back and talk to us. That's about it for Good Evening Ghana tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Has Christianity always been one of the religions in the world to you?
Oh, hallelujah. Christianity is not a religion, neither is it a joining of a church and doing the Christian things like praying and giving